everyone, it's me, Ariel H, and today we're going to talk about the Istanbul Riots in 1955 against the Greek community. I think that it happened around this time, definitely. The Greek community was allowed to stay in Istanbul in 1923 under the terms of the Treaty of Lausanne. There was continued discrimination on the Greek community when in 1932, a parliamentary law was passed banning Greeks in a series of 30 trades, such as tailoring, carpentry, medicine, law, and real estate. A wealth tax was passed called the Varlık Vergisi, which impacted the Greek community. It began when, in September 1935, when the wife of a Turkish consul in Thessaloniki wanted to receive a large collection of photographs of the Turkish consulate. Remember, the Turkish consulate is also the house of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. The next day, she and her family left for Turkey, so at 12:10 in 6 September, at a garden between two buildings at a consulate, dynamite had exploded, resulted in broken windows of two buildings. The Greek authorities investigated that the consulate guard had firebombed the buildings, and that there were two more explosives at the consulate yard. The person who brought the explosives was Oktay Egenfaik, who gave them to the guard. After that, there was a propaganda campaign in which the forged photographs were presented with the consul's wife pictured with the consulate completely destroyed. By that evening, on the 6th of September, the Turkish population was very enraged. So on the night of 6 September, there was a protest organized by state authorities regarding the Cyprus issue and the bombing of Ataturk's home. The riots started at 5 p.m. in which during the evening, the rioters started to loot at the Greek commercial property, particularly around Yüksek Kaldırım Street. The Greek shops at Istiklal Avenue were ransacked with many of the merchandise on the floor. Slogans were screamed like, "Today your property, tomorrow your lives," and "Onward to Athens and Thessaloniki." The death toll estimates that 13 to 16 Greeks and 1 Armenian had died during the riots. Other estimates include 30 deaths, with 32 additional Greeks wounded. There were forced conversions of Christians as well, and Greek women were raped. It was reported that about 200 Greek women were raped. There was also forced circumcision of many Christians, with one priest having died during the procedure. Priests were also scalped and burned in bed as well. The following clergy that were affected were Father Chrysanthus Mandas, who was burned alive, and Gennadios, Metropolitan of Leopolis, who was beaten and went mad. The riots died down when the military had came and declared martial law. The results of the damages were as follows. The following schools, such as the Halki Theological School, the Marisaeus School, the Monastery of Aluki, and the Zapeus School for girls were damaged. 4,214 homes and 1,004 businesses were destroyed. Out of 83 Greek churches that were damaged, about 59 were burned, and most others suffered the damage of ancient paintings and icons. The ancient Panagia Church in Belgrade Kopi was burned down. Other churches that were vandalized were the Church of Yedikule and the Church of St. Constantine of Samathos. The tombs of the ecumenical patriarchs at the Zodochos Pegi Church in Balikle were desecrated. The aftermath is that the range of the cost of the damage were from $25 million to $200 million. 3,151 people were arrested at the time, which later rose to 5,104. Seraphim Saglamol, A person who had address lists of non-Muslim citizens was arrested as well. The government also blamed the communists for instigating the riots. About 45 communists were arrested for the riots, which included Aziz Nesin, Kemal Tahir, and Ilhan Berktay. The communists were released in December 1955 after the government knew that they did nothing wrong. About 60 million Turkish liras were paid to compensate for the riots. 39 million was paid to fix the damages, with 12.7 million of that amount allocated to the churches that were damaged. 21 million was paid to the applicants themselves. In 1958 to 1959, Turkish nationalist students continued to campaign for the boycott of Greek businesses. This was completed 8 years later in 1964 when the government revoked the 1930 Greco-Turkish Ankara Convention, which established the right for etablis, Greek citizens living in Istanbul, to do business. Due to the tensions over the Cyprus issue, the 40,000 etablis were deported from Turkey. They were allowed to take only with them 20 kilograms of goods and $22. 10 years later, their property was confiscated. This resulted in the shrinking of the Greek community in Istanbul from 100,000 in 1955 to 48,000 in 1965. Today, only 2,500 Greeks live there, mostly older individuals. Oktay Egenfay continued his studies at Istanbul University's Faculty of Law and became the governor of Nevşehir province in 1991. He never went to jail for the help of the bombing of the consulate. Thanks everyone for watching my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye! I'm going to play a Pontic Greek dance clip right now to close.